am Tabitha. I'm the owner and creator at Reclaim More House, which is a home and lifestyle brand in Moore, Oklahoma. And we're here to talk about all things home design and DIY. And today we're going to show you how to upcycle what could be a very inexpensive Goodwill find or a thrift find, maybe garage sale item, into a very expensive looking ceramic to pottery looking vase. So this is going to be a very inexpensive project for you. You probably already have these items at home. You're just going to need acrylic paint, some baking powder, and a paintbrush, and that is literally it. Very easy to do, and we are really excited about the outcome of this project because these things, if you go to buy them, are super expensive. It's very trendy right now. Everything is all terracotta and natural looking elements. Just to make your decor look very natural, and we love the trend right now. So let's get started. Okay, so I did these two vases yesterday, and so that way you can kind of see what the final product is going to look like. I love how the mixture that we're going to create adds a texture to what was a very smooth glass vase. So it really gives that good appearance of a realistic terracotta type finish. And you can really see it really well here as well. Adds a really, really good sanded texture to the vase. So I love the texture. I love the matte finish. It looks very realistic. And again, these were just some old vases that I had. What you're gonna need to purchase for this, or maybe you already have to upcycle, is some glass canisters or ceramic, whatever you have works, even metal. These were just really old, some we just picked up at Goodwill, thrift store, garage sales, whatever. You're gonna need some mixing bowls. Whatever you have is great. I have two here because I have a little assortment of acrylic paints in 3 colors. For today's vases, I'm going to use the terracotta type coloring. Kind of goes with this color here. I'm also gonna use this cream. It's kind of a taupey off-white color, because what our assortment is here is going to be very neutral and natural color tones. So depending on what look it is that you are going after, maybe you're not doing this, you can do any color you want. For what we're doing, we're sticking with neutral tones to really pull off that terracotta inspired look. You're also going to need some baking powder. This is just regular, any old baking powder that you have, and 2 paintbrushes. All right, step 1, we are going to mix our acrylic paint. I am using Master's Touch in the color Warm Gray for these 2 vases we are going to start with first. And there's not really a perfect ratio here. When we did this project yesterday, I found that more baking powder was better than less, just to really create a really good texture within the paint. And I also kind of think that the longer it sits, maybe let it sit more like 5-10 minutes, it gives a chance for the baking powder to react with the paint, and it almost made it more of a mud type consistency versus a pudding. If you have any questions, if you want to comment down below, we will try to get those answered. The ratio that I'm doing, if I'm guessing, I probably did a 1/4 cup of paint to 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Looks like this right now. We're gonna take our paintbrush and just mix it up. And that baking powder really adds that gritty texture to the paint, which is really what we're looking for here. So as I mix it up, if it's not as gritty as I would like, I just add more baking powder, which I think I would want to do, because this to me looks more like pudding, less like mud. But again, like I said yesterday when we did this, we did let it set for just a little while, and it seemed to thicken up a little bit all on its own. So if you want to wait maybe 5 minutes and then decide if you want to mix a little further or not. There we go. See, it kind of looks like a chocolate mousse. I think that works really well. Mud. We've reached mud. Okay, you are more than likely gonna need 2 coats of this on your glass container. And you're just gonna take some on there. I like to start at the bottom and work towards the top and just paint it on. You can already tell how much texture that adds to that glass finish. It's kind of crazy when the baking powder reacts with the paint. This is more of what I'm talking about. The longer it sits, it really thickened up a lot. So actually I need to add more paint because I don't think that's going to smear onto our container very well. So I probably added another tablespoon. Mix that in. Just to thin it up a little bit. I did go back on the 2 containers we did yesterday to see if it would scratch off, since both of the containers I did, one of them was glass and one of them was ceramic. Neither one scratched off, which I was really surprised. Okay, we definitely need to add some more paint. Okay, I just added a little bit more paint to my mixture here because it was thickening up quite a bit. So here, this is what it's looking like now. Oh, there we go. I like going around the container just to really make it look more like pottery. This is just spun on the wheel. Definitely gives a more realistic look versus if you were to go up and down whenever you see it. When it's naturally done, it would be having the strokes going side to side. And that is the goal. We're making this look like it is natural pottery. Okay, so I think we're gonna let this one dry and move on to our other color. You wanna make sure you do just a little bit on the top too, just in case your stems leave a little bit of that rim exposed. We don't want to get caught that we are cheating. Okay, let's try our next color. Okay, we are going to go ahead and do our next color, which this is called Flesh Yellow by Master's Touch. And now that we did the ratio for the taupe and the warm gray, we're gonna try this a little differently. We are going to put in a little bit less on the baking powder. So we're gonna go, this is still probably a 1/4 cup on the acrylic paint, but more of only 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Okay, so it looks like this. And we're gonna mix those together and just let it set just a little bit, because when we mixed earlier, letting it set just maybe 30 seconds, it really did thicken up a lot. So we're gonna give it a chance to have that reaction. I really love the way that mixture ended up turning out once we added more paint to it. So I think this ratio might be a little bit closer to what we want here. We're gonna use it on this smaller vase and this little bit taller vase here. This color I think was really similar to what we did yesterday. but I really like the mixture with the baking powder that we did just a moment ago, because look how much different the texture is between these two. Okay. Yeah, look, it's already thickening up really well. Okay, so let's try that. Again, we'll probably need 2 coats. So if it's not as thick or the texture isn't as good as we want it to be, we'll always just add more baking powder. Oh, this vase is so cute. I love the shape. Like that. If you are going out and finding some containers to paint, look for ones with unique shapes, especially if you're gonna try to stay within the style of the terracotta and the natural elements. Really fun shapes like this, or even this fluted, are really good options. Just gives it that more terracotta pottery natural feel. So I would just pay attention to the different shapes as you're picking them out, and picking different ones. Don't pick all the same shape and style. Okay, almost there. There we go. Now let's do the blue one. This one I think is going to be really fun because of all the fluted, whatever you want to call that, on here. Yeah, look at that, that's pretty. Now this one, I am gonna have my brush strokes going up just because that goes with the lines in the vase already. Whenever, if the potter was to actually create that, I would think that they would, their strokes would go upwards. Okay, making sure I do my very top, just in case my stems do not cover the whole base. Great. Let's check in on our taupe colored. Still pretty tacky, so it might need to dry maybe 30 minutes before we put our second coat on. Okay, we have come back the next day, but you really could probably do your second coat in just a couple of hours. You're definitely more than likely going to need a second coat, especially if you're doing this on a clear glass vase, just because it gets really translucent and we're wanting this to look like pottery. So we want it to be very thick and not opaque at all. So we've got our concoction here. Again, this is baking powder and acrylic paint, puffs up really nicely, and we are gonna find kind of our thin spots and put a second coat on. But you can already see the texture that this is providing. It looks so realistic, just like it was terracotta or whatever type of pottery you are going for here. Since this is more of a natural, I would assume this would be more of a clay like a natural clay. This is the look we're going for here. Really? All right, make sure you get all of the crevices, top and bottom. Like that, and make sure to get the top really well, just so you don't have any reason to see kind of the glass finish on the inside. You could go inside there if maybe your plant's gonna be a little bit lower and you wanna make sure the rim is fully covered. I really love the texture of this one. When I first put this on, I had a little bit more baking powder than the teaspoon to 1 cup acrylic paint ratio, which I actually really like because I liked the chunks being left on the vase here, really making it kind of like that old school Art Deco type look. I think that one is perfect. So we're gonna leave that there. These are the ones that we did earlier in the day, yesterday. And this one right here is the one I kind of wanted to show you because we did 2 different color paints here, which I think gives it a completely different look. It gives it a lot more dimension. So we at first painted it with the lighter color Terracotta, and then came back and lightly brushed on a slightly darker color paint over the top, really giving it that dimensional look. And so when you set those side by side, super cute. This one obviously doesn't have as much texture as this one does, but paired together, I think they look really great. They look really realistic as far as clay and terracotta goes. We would just stick a couple of natural stems in here, maybe some pampas grass, something like that, and it would make just a really great neutral arrangement, and it really cost pennies. I mean, for a thing of paint, a little more than pennies, a couple dollars. So this right here was $5.99 at our local crafting store. You could always probably find coupons, especially if it's Hobby Lobby, you can always get that 40% off coupon. So that's gonna make this $3, and then a thing of baking powder, if you don't already have it, is just a couple bucks as well. So we've really taken some thrifting type vases and upcycled them to give a really awesome glam type look for hardly anything. If you are loving our videos and you want us to do some more of these, please click that like button and subscribe, and we are going to be doing lots more for you. Bye.